Yes, I sent the okay, can't hear. Okay, let me see if I could hear on this thing. 12 bales is correct. I hear no sound myself. Interesting. All right, the link's out. We're gonna see people show up. We got one viewer. Alexa. Okay, nothing. Can you hear me though, Alexa? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Check, check, check. I don't hear anything. What's going on? Nothing? Is my sound muted? Stop my cam. Okay. Can you hear me? I don't see my mic moving up and down. What is going on? Oh, you can hear me. Oh, that's great. Okay. All right. There was people in here earlier, but they was inside the Google Meet, and unfortunately, the Google Meet has gone down because the fact of the matter is that 12. Okay, so you're back. Okay, so I sent the StreamYard link. You guys can jump on the StreamYard link, and I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, it was inside of the Google Meet, but it was unfortunately not able to handle it. Something's wrong with my OBS. Maybe I should reinstall it while we're waiting. Wow. Amazing. All right, folks, so I'm just going to get back into like a little bit of my own just stuff that I haven't wanted to say about this. And the fact of the matter is that New York City public housing is actually the population is larger than Cleveland, Ohio, larger than Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, New Orleans, yeah. And that's a large population. Now, just so you know, there's even though it's New York City Housing Authority, right, public housing, it has federal implications because FEMA, I think, has been asked to be involved. HUD is involved. That's a federal program. There's a lot of federal dollars that are coming in to fund NYCHA, and that's under this program called Section 9. There's a now New York City is one of the last places to actually still maintain Section 9 housing versus other places that have almost across the nation. New York City is actually one of the last places. Every place else has actually completed the rollout to something called Section 8, which is really something that, to tell you the truth, is there to benefit the developers and the owners of the property versus the renters, right? The public housing really protects the renters versus the other way around. All right, so they're trying to end public housing as we know it. That's like almost done at this point. And there's other people involved that for President Katz to investigate, such as the involvement of the federal monitor, which has really overseen and under their watch, people have died. And they've made recommendations, but they have no actual teeth. So why are people even getting paid then? Like, what are they even doing there, right? But recently, maybe, okay, we have the largest bust in DOJ history of bribery. So it's possible that they've just been sitting there like collecting, like evidence for the whole entire time. I mean, that's crazy. So it's crazy. The thing is that just being like an inspector and stuff, there's so many things I can tell you that's like suspect about this whole thing. Like, frozen by someone captures black. Oh, the front line, yeah. Yeah, the documentaries. Oh, Emmanuel's here. Okay. So, all right. I sent the links out, and I was just telling the audience about my own particular take on public housing. I was talking about FEMA and the federal monitor who's been involved with this particular project, and how it gets money from HUD, which is a federal program. Also, just so you know, the size of people in public.
I can't hear.
You cannot hear me? Okay. And can you see the chat? Okay, check, check, check. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay, let's turn it on. Check, check. Can you hear me now? No, right? What's going on? Camera, audio. Is it better now? Is it better now? No. What the? Line. Okay, mic. Check, check. Can you hear me now? Oh, I think it's better now. You can hear me now, right? Check. Can you hear me now? Okay. I just changed something. Hopefully it works. He wasn't able to hear me for some reason. Wow. Check. Says it works. Okay. Joanne, I do not actually, it says device is not connected. I'm going to add her to the stage, but it doesn't say her mic's connected. So I don't know if she's her device, her phone. Yeah. I was trying to run it in the phone. Check, check, check. I have to ask Manuel to watch it on YouTube and use that audio. Sometimes it's like that. That would be crazy. I was still waiting for the rest of the group to show up. So just so you know, while you guys are waiting, I'm actually going to show you some screenshots of myself inviting other groups to this meeting. So let's just put it all out there. Okay. We just, before we said that some people, what's different today? The thing is that I tried to make some adjustments to my OBS today to like try to make sure that certain things were, I like try to prepare better, but maybe something got turned off somehow when I was trying to make those adjustments to the settings. Manuel, can you hear me now?
I can. Just in the future, if you can email me, because it's easier to use my laptop than my cell phone, and I don't have WhatsApp on
Oh,
the
I'm so
computer.
sorry. Okay.
No,
All
no
right, cool.
problem. It was my fault for not explaining.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so Joanne's still trying to get involved. 12 Veils. I think I sent you the link, right?
Everyone got it?
Okay, well, we're gonna. So the thing is that I was talking about FEMA, Federal Monitor, those things are involved, and that you know there's more people in New York City public housing than in the city of New Orleans, Los Angeles, Louisiana. So it's a large population, and what she was saying before, Joanne's unfortunately, her says that her device is not connected, so her mic is not hooked up somehow. She's probably better off on her laptop, maybe trying to join with the phone, but there's going to be different plans as to who owns the property, right? Now, just so you know, Rad Pact, it happened during the Obama era, and the reason why there was no outcry to the end of public housing as we know it was because the idea was that the homes would be given to the people who live in public housing, and the people in public housing would actually, once they were empowered, they would be able to create new public housing for people with disabilities and elderly and things like that. So we were told that a second fight should be occurring, and that's supposed to be happening today. But when I was back then, I was young. I did not realize that no one else would be left. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
I was going to ask a question. So if you give ownership to someone in a public housing, it can have two possible meanings. One is they own the property, but they can do whatever they want. They can sell it to a developer or whatever. And the other possible meaning is they own it, but it's limited, right? They can either just pass it on to a family member or return it, when they pass away. I'm curious, what exactly does ownership mean, and what is your goal?
The idea was, okay, the thing is that a lot of these people have been living in these apartments, right? Sometimes for generations.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that it's a generational gift, right? These people, a lot of them have been poor. A lot of them are indigenous, have indigenous backgrounds. Isn't this a chance for the community to reinvest in them and to make them, owners just as much as anybody else? It's okay for the rich people to move into the neighborhood. It's
Right.
not okay for them to replace us. You understand? It's a
Right.
protection against gentrification, and it's empowering the people like that have been traditionally poor and to take care of them and that's the thing that Joanna is doing right now. Even though they're trying to take those things away from her, she's empowered herself by running for county committee. And the thing is that whatever plan you put into place, so many of the things that are built for us are actually weaponized against us. The only thing that will protect us as a people is to empower ourselves. So right now we're trying to get other people to run for office. And that's why, having a presidential candidate pay attention to people in public housing can help them know that they do actually have value and importance, and it's important for them to empower themselves. So hopefully we'll hear from other people. Joanne, once again, you're a great voice in this, and I do support the Carver plan. Once again, there's going to be other plans that you might hear about, differences of opinion about how to address this situation. Once again, the Save Section 9 thing, I'm not against it, right? We should, the funding, I support that, but it can pay for mortgages the way it pays for rental assistance. And if once again, if those people miss their payments, we know during the Obama era, I don't know if you were around during the Obama era, but remember there was a mortgage crisis at that time, and a lot of minority people were known to have lost their homes. You know that?
Yeah.
This is a very similar plan. So you can study that plan to see where the holes are in this plan. It doesn't matter what they call it. What matters at the end is that these people have power over their own lives and can control what happens to them in the future and can pass on this stuff to their children. That's what
the grandfather's clause is. It's been in the mayor's office since 1903, like I said, and now it's called the TILD program, which a lot of the tenants that live in Manhattan, a lot of the buildings that I've went to, they became a part of the TILD program. So if they give that same energy also to put into having housing residents, tenants that have been there 10 years and better, to buy their apartments, that'll be awesome. But you got to think about it. Also, the seniors, where the seniors are going to get the money to pay whatever they're talking, whatever whatever they're saying regarding the issues. So it's a whole lot of red tape, but then we got to give something to get something.
Right.
So it just to me, it's just, I don't live in housing, but I advocate and I help a lot of people, and we help a lot of people and stuff like that from different boroughs. I get phone calls on a constant. And it's just one of those that you're like, listen, hold up. This is beginning to be a little bit too much. Can we, we the people do a petition and make sure they can buy their apartments? Which my mom bought her apartment for $2,500. That's the regular price for it. And then for seniors will be $1,500. But if the seniors can pay the $1,500, where are we going to get the money for them to allocate to pay their maintenance? You know what I mean?
Right.
Their maintenance fee. So we got to give something back to them. That was the only glitch that me and my people were working on. And we were trying to do it. And it just was not working to capacity. It was just, we worked on it, and people were like, oh, no. But when I met Elf, when we was downtown with me, Miss Emily Johnson, and a couple of other people, we were down there and we met different tenant association presidents from different projects that were saying about the Blue Rat program, that they had this already laid out for the beginning of 2000. So people are not really vigilant on that. So we're worth a lot of money. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
My neighborhood from 96th Street to 125th Street, between 1st to 2nd Avenue, from between 1st to 5th Avenue, we're worth $200 billion. Now, housing also they have 600,538 apartments in all 5 boroughs. And out of that, you have people there. A lot of their apartments are dilapidated. A lot of people are like, you know what, I'm leaving, I'm moving, because they're not fixing. They're putting tickets in for 2 or 3 years. I'm glad that now that they're fighting now, and they cared about 70 people the other day. This isn't just one project.
Right.
And one. So for that, I was like, wow. And then there's more projects that's going on. I just don't understand why the tenants from housing can't buy their apartments and be owners.
Mhm.
You know
That's
why?
it.
Because one of the big problems is that the tenants are not being told. They're being given these other solutions because no one's making money off of telling the tenants about their rights, right?
Right.
Right.
You got the developers that want to make the money, so they tell them, "Oh, we're going to get you this new kitchens and stuff," right? Bullshit. Okay, don't believe that at all. On the
Which
other
is
side, you
which
have the
is which
bureaucrats.
is garbage
Yeah, you have
because
the
they buy them by
bureaucrats,
the bulk.
which have been rated the worst, landlords in the city for multiple generations. People are dying under their care, right? Yeah,
Right.
and there's no real accountability, and it's just so both sides are actually marking their own crap. Now, the thing is that wait, I did have some notes over here. There are quite
Mhm.
this whole thing with the migrants now. The thing is that
Oh,
there's a marketing thing that the idea is that the migrants are going to take the public housing money. But let me just actually, I would just want to actually oppose that for a second, okay? Look, I've been poor my whole life, okay? I've
Right.
been homeless at
right.
the age of 16. I lived on the streets, and by the way, it's hard for single men to get into public housing. So
Of course it is.
there's different communities that get access to public housing, and there's different communities that still don't get into public housing. And I've always
Right.
been people that didn't get into public housing, who was in the shelter. There's a different system like called city FEPs that usually they're pushed into, not public
Yes.
housing. Okay, which we don't talk about. People don't know about it. This is a real issue, and who always
But
been
City
with
Right.
Fabs
us.
also, don't forget, Elf, City Fabs is also for working people as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And by the way, a lot of these programs are built and designed off of the federal model. So they're doing the same thing. Actually, it's a time bomb. A lot of people talk about it, right? It's a time bomb. It's going to set to go off for the tenant, right? Becomes actually the property is allowed to go up in value. And then
Yeah.
eventually the tenant's going to have to be priced out because
Right.
those vouchers won't stay forever. So the thing is that's why they have people fighting for the voucher. Wait a minute. Why don't they just have the price be low? Why they have to artificially jack the price up and have this kind of merry-go-round going? So the
Right.
thing is that
Can
there's a lot
can
of
I ask a
players who
question
are
too?
dipping into the money, and the fact of the matter is that you have to really be remember that there's HUD money coming into the system, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
federal money. So you have to be careful about how that's impacting the overall status because there's different levels of corruption going on, and all the local to federal, there's different things going on, and the migrants. Just to get back to that, right? A
Mhm.
lot of them it's being the plans like Hochul already has something called high density housing by transportation hubs. It's a new form of redlining, a new form of apartheid, to tell you the truth, where they're going to take, okay, well, let's go to Newburgh, New York, a place
Mhm.
2 hours north of New York City. The thing is that there's a lot of migrants there, Mexicans, right? Yeah, a lot of black people. And there was an environmental hazard, which had a lot of Scotch Guard military chemicals in the water. They had cancer rate
Mhm.
going on there. Now, the thing is
Right.
that up there, they have affordable housing built with federal money. They must, now you can't take loans from the government, build housing, and then not fill those houses. So those houses in that distressed property, which is like environmentally hazardous, okay, who's going to be moving into that property? Who do you think? The migrants and the people displaced from this public housing right here. You understand? They already have built up those areas to intake, right? Those communities that are now like having problems with like MS-13. They're actually shuttling these people to go be moved into those areas. So
Right.
their
Right.
future has already been planned. So you can
Right.
see it right out there. So on a federal level, hopefully you can start looking into these things. Do you see what I mean? You see how the incentives are really set there on a federal level? Okay.
Did we
Oh,
lose
Joanna
her?
Acevedo is back. Okay, let me
It,
edit
it,
this.
it's something with my phone.
It's okay. So I was just talking about how where the public housing people will end up, right? They're going to end up like
Right.
outside of the city. They're going to come into the city, pay like more money on the train to come here and do the work for the rich, and then when the sun goes down, they're going to get them back out
Right.
to the go live in the toxic conditions and the environmental hazards. And this is
Right.
all you can see all the plans being laid out right now. Like this, they didn't just let in the migrants for nothing, right? And the thing is that people in public housing, they're being convinced that the migrants are their enemies. I'm sorry to say, the plan is for you guys to be end up moved together, just as
Right.
we
Okay.
all just as we always have been. The poor, the migrants,
Go
and
ahead.
people coming out of
Right.
prisons, we all working together. I've been living with that exact type of community my whole life.
No. It's a difference when we're the land of opportunity that come here in all walks of life. I'm Puerto Rican. We're a melting pot in New York City. But
Mhm.
one thing I don't like is when people are coming here with zero and robbing people
Yeah, that's
and
not
doing things that's out of because I was robbed 2 months
Right.
ago by
Right.
Venezuelans on a moped in broad daylight coming out my building, and I was going to go into a meeting, and they snatched my chain and dropped it on the floor. I picked it up and I beat the shit out of them. Just put it that way. Me and my daughter, we went to work on them,
nice.
knocked him out so hard that he dropped his helmet. It's in the database with the police department and all of that. And this is Venezuelans that's doing this thing.
That's
Like,
how it gets
I
down.
don't knock people coming here and they want to work and they want to leave their countries for a better life and all that. I understand that. But now to me, as me advocating for them at one point, now begins to be, no, you got to go. You can't
Right.
even help the people
I
that's
understand the
here.
sentiment as well. Okay.
You can't help the people that's here, and people got to be on. Now I have to turn my back every 5 seconds because I'm, moped is coming behind me and trying to.
Right.
So I got to be alert. We should not be living like that. If they're coming in here,
Right.
first of all, they wasn't even supposed to send them here. The governor from Texas sent them over here to the Democratic states to get back at them because he's Republican. That's one.
Right.
Two, we're not the only state that's getting flooded.
Right.
Chicago's getting flooded. California's getting flooded. I just heard that Utah too. Like they're sending them all over the place. It's just
Right.
listen, I would love to sit down with the presidents from their countries and
Right.
ask them, what are you doing with the money that we, the people from the United States, go to their areas of their countries and we give money to their countries? We're the tourists that make their money flow. So
Right.
I want to speak to the presidents of all the countries and go, what are you doing with your money? Why are you not helping out the poor? Just like here, we're giving millions of dollars to the migrants here, and they cooking in the hotel rooms and fighting each other, killing each other. I just read that the Atlanta mayor got shipping containers, right? And turned them into tiny homes for homeless. Empty land, and just
Right.
started putting up homes, for men and stuff like that they're struggling with crime, and I didn't know that Atlanta was very heavy on homelessness.
Right.
So what they did was get shipping containers, cut them out, and turn them into homes.
If I could just say, I love that idea too. And the thing is that, just so you know, a lot of money was spent here on the migrants that was quite inefficient. If you talk to people that was actually homeless like myself, we would have a lot of other solutions or a lot of other ways that you could handle the situation. But instead, they bought all these new cots, these new things. They put them outside in the cold when it was freezing, expecting them to take showers in there with their kids, sleeping next to criminals and stuff. I mean, it was just not
we don't know who they are.
Yeah,
Right.
that too, right? Yeah,
we don't know.
There
Look,
was a mix. There was a mix, right? There was some
it was a
families
mix
there.
of
There's some criminals, straight up.
gang
Yeah,
members, criminals, drug traffickers, kidnappers, all kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's like it's kind of hard to be like, okay, we'll be symptomatic, but y'all robbing everybody.
I got people from Venezuela. Like, that's one of the most violent countries in the world. Like,
They the first in
they got
broad
bullet holes.
daylight.
Yeah, like, but
They're making it bad
I'm
for
not saying it's cool, but
everyone
yeah,
else.
they from a real, like, violent, like, state of the world. So, not saying it's cool, but that's their
I'm not a
normal,
racist.
so, yeah,
Never was. My kids are half black and half Puerto Rican and everything else. I'm no far near no racist. I have friends of all walks of life.
you deserve to be
But
safe,
this
Giovanni. There's no
here,
reason for that. Yeah.
there's no reason for you to come to my city and mess up my city. We ain't having that,
I feel
respectfully.
I feel you.
We ain't doing that.
I got you.
But we trying to figure out our own. All that money can go into fixing these apartments for the elderly, making sure there's more Spanish speaking, more Cantonese, Vietnamese, Chinese, French, all kinds of languages that can help out the tenants with situations.
I got love for y'all. I'm telling you, I see we got some comments in the chat here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Danique Martinez, a very common, watcher of the show. Thank you so much, Danique. Danique is actually Also, not a rich person dealing. I'm not going to say the situation. They could say it if they want in the chat, but I know that they live in that realist of the realist life. Alexa Cruz, resident from Fulton Chelsea houses, they're set to be their homes set to be demolished. So we just want to shout out some people in the chat. Of course, 12 Veils. What's up, 12 Veils? Thank you so much for checking in all the time. Hopefully you get back on the call. We put the once again, we're going to put the StreamYard in the chat right there. Okay, you guys can jump on in if you want. Let me share that.
I want to
okay.
ask.
Yeah, I did actually want. I was just about to get you. Yeah. But yeah, you must have questions. I know you're going to write your
for
position paper.
Johnny,
go ahead.
If I could. So I'm when we think about what you think is ideal in terms of ownership for in public housing, I guess there are two kinds of ownership. One would be you get it becomes yours. You can do whatever you want with it.
Right.
You sell it to developers. And the second is a sort of limited ownership, which is you can live in it for your whole life. Maybe you can give it to your children, but you can't just sell it to anybody. What is ideal? What do you think is the ideal sort of ownership for?
Ideal thing is it can be succession rights. Since it's the grandfather's clause, that means it can go over to the next of kin if they're living in that apartment. The thing is with that, it's a great catch-22. But then again, you got to be in the fine print. How is that? How the elderly person's gonna have the funding and the money to pay for the maintenance fee? It's going by their income. You got a person, let's say they just retired and they got the 2,500 to buy it, correct? They got the money to buy it, and then now they have to pay a little extra because of the senior that they have to take the bulk from. So that's going to be a situation where we got to see if the elderly person has someone that can financially help them with the mortgage, with the maintenance fee. Because once you become an owner, that's it. You got to take care of your own apartment. NYCHA will just only be there to solidify, to clean and fix whatever that needs to be done. So if the grandparent or something dies, then it should go to the succession rights. It should go back either into housing and with the market value rent, or it could be that one of their grandkids or their kids put themselves as co-owner as well. That's the only way.
No, I'm going to say something else that's a little bit disturbing. I guess it is what it is though. The thing is that a lot of people in public housing are elderly and they're alone. They don't have anybody they can rely on. And the thing is that when they die, their apartments will actually go into the public. They don't have anybody to pass it on to. They will become public property again. So a lot of it's going to cycle back in, and then we can actually use the money from the other things to actually help build new. We know that people who are deaf, blind, people with disabilities, right? They have different needs, and a lot of times the public housing is designed for people with mobility issues, but not necessarily communication issues, right? And security for them, and other guardrails, things like that for the blind. So, or even signage, right? In the braille or other types of devices to really help them with their living. So, we have Alexa Cruz. She's actually a victim of possible displacement. She's really on the verge right there. And it's great to have you on. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello.
Hi, my name is Alexa Cruz, and I've been residing in NYCHA since 1969, and it's very scary to know that we're going to be privatized to Essence related land grab people. They want to take the land. They know this landscape here, and the apartments are very expensive, and they want to make money on us, on the poor.
Where do you live?
I live on Kelsey in Manhattan. I'm sure
They
you've
want that
heard.
property.
They want the property. They do. We have the Hudson Yards right next to us, and
Oh,
so they want to build um, commercial places. They want to make the buildings with apartments and commercial places in the building. They want to make casinos. They want to, drag us out of here,
but
out
this
of
is
the
the
city.
situation. The situation is that we, the people, need to gang and be together. This is not about a racial issue at no point in time. Now, this is about your homes where you've been living for a certain amount of years. And your
Mm.
tenant association president, what is she or he doing?
Well, the tenant association is for the demolition, and
They're not going to get a new building. You guys are not going to get, I'm going to tell you right now, they agreed with it or they took the $25,000 and said, you know what, I'll take the 25 grand and y'all could do whatever they want to do with you guys. Personally, you guys need to fight that, go to court, do what you got to do because y'all going to get displaced. They can take up to 2 years to build, and then they don't have to bring you back. And if they do bring you back, you got to pay market value rent.
Yeah, I know.
So I just want
So
to
the
check
2 or
with you,
3
Joanna.
bedroom is disgusting.
Yeah, I want to check with you, Joanna, and I just want to make sure that we answered Emmanuel's question. I want to get Alexa's input on this too. So as far I know, my position is I want full ownership. I don't want any kind of you own this kind of like, but here's these little
No,
special rules. Like if I own it, it's mine. Like that's it. Like that's done deal. And if I wanted to go to my kids, I can. If I want to sell it to the developer, I really technically I could do whatever I want with it. You know, I mean that's
right.
really what I want for it. What about you, Joanna? What about you, Alexa?
I agree.
Okay,
Full
what about Alexa?
ownership.
How do you feel about Alexa?
I mean, rather than they take it away from me, I'd rather have full ownership on it. You
Okay.
know,
Emmanuel had an idea that there could be ownership of full ownership or ownership where you own it and then you got to give it back at some point, I guess.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for saying that. It's not because we want to limit people's options, but there is some risk. Obviously, if you have a public housing and some people are bought off by developers, they can slowly get their paws on your land and force you out. So that's the only reason to say it should be some sort of like community in which you can't just sell to anybody. But I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just
you could leave
curious
it to
what you're thinking.
anybody, can you? You could leave it to somebody else, to a
Right.
beneficiary, right? If I
But you have to make
die.
sure that beneficiary has the money to back up and be your co-signer. This is what I'm
Right.
saying.
So how much
With
money is it?
okay, if you guys say I want to do the chilled program, we the people say we want to do the chilled program, then they'll charge you $2,500 for regular, and then seniors will be $1,500 for the
That's
seniors.
an initial payment, you're saying,
No, that's a one-time sign to buy your apartment.
to buy the apartment. Okay.
Yes, and then whatever your income is, they have to do the breakdown of your maintenance fee. But if you
Right.
can't pay the maintenance fee, then you have to find another entity to
Instead of
back
rent, you'll
up your
pay
maintenance fee.
maintenance fee, which
Yeah.
is
That's the maintenance fee. That's what I'm saying. It's the
yeah.
maintenance fee.
How much percentage is the maintenance fee?
The maintenance fee will be whatever your income is.
So what percentage? 30%, like they
I have
have, or
no clue.
50?
That
If
would
you're
have
the
to be
owner,
that
you get to decide. It's not like, like if
it has to
you're
go by your income.
how are you owning it and you don't get to determine what the maintenance fee is, right? If it's
Right.
really yours, it's really your decision. You don't have to ask
Right.
for. It's up to you.
Mhm.
Now,
Housing.
I do have a quick
Right.
question talking about the cost though, Emmanuel, right now. The thing is that a lot of times when we're talking about advocacy for public housing, it's not the whole, unfortunately gets locked into a lot of funding for this, funding for that, right? So
Right.
we do, obviously we've asked for some things like money to help pay for mortgage assistance, rental assistance, whatever, right, the residents need, repairs. We at least want the funding restored. And actually 2 years ago in the 22 election cycle, we got a group of candidates, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Greens, Libertarians, all agreed, right? Yeah. With the unified platform, like I said, we're going to take those suggestions that are made through the form that we made. Let me actually make that available right now. We have a form that you can post to different ideas that you want those candidates to vote on at the end of this program. And all the candidates who participated with us will vote on these different proposals. And last year, 2 years ago, we passed one that said that they want to refund all the money that was going to public housing. They want to give that money again for the next cycle, which was cool. Sometimes people are also asking for additional money. I think that Save Section 9 made a proposal to the federal government, right, aligning with AOC's plan for a green night. I think they asked for like $40 billion or something like that. And the funding is good. Once again, for me, if it locks in the rights of the ownership that were promised, instead of rolling it back to a never-ending, the government owns it without you being able to have power of control. You are the public. It belongs to you. That's my vision, but there's other people who have different visions. So they could have been here today, but for some reason, even though I can show clear documentation that they were invited, they
Blast
didn't
them.
want to be
And then
here.
they can't say that they can't say that they wasn't invited.
I can even show
Right.
you like I'll show you like I made. Let me actually show you on the screen right now. By the way, I do want to hear from. I don't want to hog it all up, but let me see. I could also show you slides. Okay, let me see. I could. Oh, let me share my screen. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna blow some people up right now. I'm not sorry to
Do it.
but
Why not?
That's the way I like it. Yeah, that's why. That's why it's you and me, Joanne. All right, cool. So let's look at Facebook. Let's take a look at some groups over here, and you'll see that I actually try to post it in, what is it, Bronx River houses, and you'll see that they rejected. Let's go there right now. Bronx River. You know Bronx River, right? Famous
Yeah.
home of hip hop and all of that. Yeah, and much love out there, right? There's other places like One Night Shut. Other.
Right.
Let's see if let's go to maybe they're watching right now. Go ahead, Stanley. Go ahead, Sandra. You better approve those posts right now because I'm going there right now. You can see I have 5 posts that are pending. When are these from? Look, they're not
I
posting
don't know.
on my right. I try to post up stuff.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Facebook page now, and I see the stuff that you posted.
Oh, you do on the One Night Show, or you see it on mine? Not on One
I
Night
see
Show.
it on yours.
Right. Let's go to Bronx River houses. So the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of groups that I'm trying to put this information out, but they're actually not giving you guys access to they deleted it all, or maybe they're watching. Yeah. Hey, watch this. I'm gonna put the link in the channel right now for this thing, and watch. It's gonna get
Not
auto
surprised
rejected right
either.
now. Let's see what happens. Watch, I'm gonna bite them right now. Watch. Doesn't this seem crazy? Here, look. Watch. I copied the link address right here. Okay, and I'm gonna drop it in there. Okay, this is the president's candidate. Bam. Okay, I've dropped that in. Will they allow it to post? Thank you for your post. Has been submitted and is waiting for approval. It's going to get rejected real quick. And then declined your posts. It's been declined. They declined it a bunch of times. They declined all this other stuff too. They don't want this stuff coming out, right? And that's sad.
That's not surprising.
Oh well, just want to complain. I'm so sorry. I'm so frustrated. Yeah. All right, let me stop sharing that. All right. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. Oh, did I? Okay, I finished the sharing. Okay. Did it share or did it not share? Did you see all that stuff? No. Did I share it?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, I'm back now. Okay. So, all right. So, Emmanuel, when it comes to the funding, right? Yeah.
Right.
Do you see? I mean, do you agree? Do you think the plan could work? And do you think that there could be funding, or can you pull funding, or can you justify funding for a program like this?
Well, obviously, I would be happy to support such a program, and I think that people in the public housing should have ownership. The only concern, I mean, I guess there are 2 issues. One is the larger one. It's sort of beyond the scale of this discussion today, but obviously there are a lot of enormous banks who are investing in real estate and driving up the cost of real estate to make profits for themselves. And they're essentially printing up their own money to do it. And so I think we really need to, at the highest level, take on that, the way in which finance is destroying the ability of people to live in their own homes.
Well, if I could just comment on that for a second.
Please.
A lot of these things are actually educational institutions. Cornell Pace actually brought out several of the public housing things going on. And the fact of the matter, the fact that Columbia is so involved in the activism surrounding public housing, and the fact that they're also another interesting thing is the Democracy Now! And these other PBS, right? Yeah, they put out a documentary. I could actually screen share that, right? Yeah, and they actually played a lot of the tropes of single black women, right? Yeah, with lots of kids, right? Yeah, I've been in public housing. I've inspected 1,000 apartments. Yes, that is a community here, right? Yeah, but there's also many other people that are in public housing that are actually elderly, that are actually veterans, things like that. But they focused on portraying them in a certain way. Also, just so you know, a lot of the migrants that they're moving into public housing now, or like, the housing and stuff, or the also Asians, right? The Chinese people.
Yes,
the
a
reason why
lot
they're
of them.
putting them in there is because they cannot speak English. It's harder for them to organize with you, number one. Number two, right? Yeah, they're going to be easier to convince to move out of the housing when they want to demolish it. So the fact of the matter, they've been planning for this for a long time, and I've been trying to tell you guys about this. Yeah, they're not just all of a sudden moving the people in out of the blue, right? They're choosing, they're managing the community structure through their ability to pick and choose which communities go in there, right? And now they're choosing all the ones that are easier to displace. You get what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Makes sense. Makes
So-
sense.
They're doing a lot of stuff that's not right. And they know. Well, explain this to me. That
Mhm.
people did the ERAP when there was COVID. There's 1,000 people waiting for this ERAP to pay their bills
Okay, wait a second.
and pay their
Emmanuel
rent.
probably doesn't know what ERAP is. Let's tell him what ERAP is.
It's an emergency assistance program, which
Right.
through the pandemic, people were out of work. A lot of people couldn't pay their rent. So now
Right.
we don't even know if they're going to be evicted or what.
So ERAP
Right.
offered to help pay them with their rent. Now the thing is that the city actually applied to actually take all the ERAP money and then distribute it throughout public housing. So now they said yes, and they
They
just
don't got no
swept
more
all the
money.
money, and now they might be giving out. They might not be. You know, you trust the city agency. This agency has been shown to be falsifying lead records, which cause permanent brain damage, and actually there's a recent death caused the of Gavin Centrone. His parents. I'm sorry they couldn't attend today and to bring up their issue. I know there's a lot of people being, and I'm not against them. But there's a lot of people being leaned on by different activist organizations.
Right.
I'm not saying that they're not doing good work, because dare to struggle. I'm going to shout you. Thank you for working on their case, Gavin Centrone, and thank you for working on Michael. Michael and Alicia Starr, and working on their issues. You did a good job on that, and I really appreciate that. Right? They needed help in that time, and I was busy doing other things, and I was happy that I saw you guys were taking care of that. But I do have critical information on this stuff, and however you feel about me, we should honestly work together more. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say something just about the nature of government. Government, I think we need government. Sadly, over the last 20, 30 years, it started with the Republican Party. There's this idea that somehow government can be replaced by the private sector, which will do a better job. And so what you ended up with is both the ability of government being outsourced to private companies looking for profit, and government itself being weakened. And so that my grandmother used to work for welfare in Manhattan, and she actually had a strong sense of public service, and she was very committed to it. But now that's really vanished. So government is really weak, and it's been weaponized. So government's used against the people. So the question is there a way to create a government that actually represents the interests of the people as opposed to the interests of real estate speculators or big banks, etc.? Because there's so much money to be made from exploiting people and getting them off their land. And I guess the final question would be, who owns what? So if you have, say, Bank of America buys a whole bunch of property and they develop it, right? Where did that money come from? And the bottom line is they made it up, right? The Bank of America calls up the Federal Reserve and says, we want you to print up for us, $10, $20 billion. The money is made by magic, right? It's not magic, of course. It's inflation, but that's what they do. So they don't really own it. You guys have more of a right to it than they do.
Yes, public housing, absolutely, yeah. All right, so.
It's just too much. It's just beginning to be where now that we the people are, people don't seem to understand that we the people, myself and others, if we get together and band together as one, not as separate, we can get a lot of stuff accomplished. It's not about the titles. I'm not infatuated with titles and all of that. Because if you have the title and if you don't do nothing with the title, then it means nothing to me.
Absolutely.
And it's sad because everybody wants to be president, everybody wants to be vice president, everybody wants to be a chair of something, everybody wants to be empowered of something. But I personally don't see nothing getting done.
Right.
And if it does get done, it's under the table and people are getting paid under the table and taking things from people that lived in these places for all their lives. And this is the only thing they know.
Right.
And it's sad. And people are like, yeah, take the Blue Rat program. The Blue Rat program is to get everybody out.
Right.
And the low income will be gone. Rent regularizations will be gone. So seniors, myself, and everyone else can't afford a $3,000 or $4,000 price tag on a 3-4 bedroom apartment.
Right.
And they may be paying one something a month because they've been there so long.
Right.
So that's what my thing is. Because if you was running for president, what would be the things that would change, and what would you change for HUD, for housing? Would you have somebody policing them with money distribution, or going to the facilities, or going to the housing, going to housing authorities, going to all 600,000 units in all 5 boroughs and checking and see if they're doing their stuff right?
Right. Right. So, I mean, first, I don't want to say what I'm going to do until I understand what people like you need. So obviously, I have to learn what the situation on the ground is. But there are some basic principles I think we can say, and the first is that we have to get the money out, right? That to say that banks and real estate speculators and all these people shouldn't play any role in a policy regarding public housing, and that we have to start addressing the way in which property prices in general have been inflated by speculation across the board in the United States. I mean, the rents did not go up, by magic, right? There's a reason why.
Right,
And now we have this cyclical system, which we had in 2011 and then COVID, which is where they these big banks, they purposely destroy the economy, force people to sell, and then after a few years they have to rent back from those same companies, the same basically banks owning real estate companies. And so their plan is to make everyone a renter who's like living on the edge, because that's in their benefit. And they're paying enormous amounts of money to senators, congressmen, local government all over the place in order to displace you. And so I guess I feel we have to make a strong statement, which is to say that they don't own this stuff, right? The
right.
people who live here are the people who own this land. If so, in the current situation, it's like they say, well, we're a corporation, we own this property, right? You're just little people, you don't own anything, we'll tell you what to do. And I think we have to make a stand and say, well, actually, you bought all this stuff with fake money that you had the Federal Reserve print up for you, using
Right.
your connections to corrupt politicians. So actually, no, you don't own it.
I need to, there's a lot of people that's going to lose. They're going to be like totally moved out of their homes. And I think that if anybody else that lives in housing, y'all need to press your tenant association presidents to let them know what's going on.
Well, I'd be happy
Y'all
to
got to
make a
press them on
statement.
1,000.
I'd be happy to make a statement on the subject. I mean, we can just take one. I mean, we can't do everything.
Not in
But
my
maybe
community. Because my community here, they don't want, the tenant association is for demolition and new developers. You won't be
Right,
able to speak to them. Not the
right,
tenant association, no way. We have our
It's
hands tied, and they have control over a lot of tenants, and people are
right.
vulnerable.
So
They're afraid to
yeah,
speak up.
before I actually have Danique introduce herself, I'd like to actually ask for a favor for my friend Alexa over here. In your
Mhm.
statement that you're about to write on public housing, right? Do you think you could include a line about protecting the people who are threatened to be displaced by the oncoming, you know, planned demolition of Fulton Chelsea houses? If you could actually, if you need any clarification of that, that's fine. I will help you with that. But if you could,
Mhm.
so you'll see, you could agree to do that now. And is there anything that we can do for you in return? Right? Yeah, we should negotiate something here, right? So what can we do for you to really
Get them off my back. Get them off our backs. Get the Essence related. The tenant associations, they need to be taken out of their positions, and they can re-elect new tenant association people that are on our side.
I'll also ask you to support
And
Duane Acevedo. And yeah,
there has to be a minority of people that want to own their apartments. You could have 2 and 3 people, and that's it.
yeah.
They want to own their apartment. We're not going to do anything with that.
You're
Mhm.
right. How many people in your where you live?
Well, there's I don't know how many people, but we have 21 floors, and we have like 5 apartments to each floor. Maybe I don't know.
I can
I'll
look it
take
up.
a rough
There's a lot more.
estimate. I
How
don't know
many? How many apart? You said five. You said
5 apartments
21
to each
floor and 5
floor.
apartments on each floor.
Yeah, some of them
Right.
have studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms on each floor.
Fulham Chelsea House has 160 units.
Oh,
That's one building, but there's like
Hmm
20 buildings.
Right.
right. So that right there, if you can get out of 20 buildings, 10 buildings to say the same thing, we the people of these buildings, want to buy our apartments, you can start that. And you can start lobbying yourself, call the newspapers, do everything. Like it
Yeah.
only takes one person to shoot it, and then everybody else will follow suit.
Well, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to help if you want with the drafting of the statement, and I'd be
See,
happy to
there you
support
go.
the.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
really
it
appreciate
sounds
it.
great, but
Huge.
will people be open about it? Because
It's not.
people are.
Listen, what he's trying to say is he can help you. He can help you start the ball to run.
Right.
After that,
Mhm,
So
the legwork could continue.
Yeah. And we're just
mm.
starting. Yeah, there's other. Once again, there's. I actually got an email right here from Ellen Kalinj, another presidential candidate. Susan B. Lahaki. Maybe she's mad at me because I did not react well to her last endorsement of Cornel West. I went a little crazy on that, but that's a whole nother storyline, folks. So I'm so sorry about that. Okay, but
no, no
Colin
problem.
Kalinj just sent me an email and he said that he's actually watching tonight, and there may be other
Excellent.
candidates who are watching as well. So as I showed early in the program, I don't know if I showed it on this live stream. I think you guys just saw it on without the audio, but
Yeah.
I did show that I contacted many candidates across the country on this particular issue and invited them to watch tonight's program. So
I
they may
agree.
watch it eventually. Okay. All right. So, and also ask yourselves why the other advocacy groups are not here and did not talk about this event at all. What's up, groups? Right? Yes, I think that I'm not saying they're all bad or all good. Right? Yeah. But once again,
Well,
I'm a little disappointed about the lack of coordination over here, folks.
I
What's
would
up?
like to suggest, if I could, that we can't do everything at once. So we should probably just pick one case and focus on that as a model. And I would be happy to help in terms of drafting the letter that we're going to submit. And the letter should go at multiple levels, right? To the immediate authorities, but also to the mayor and to the governor, and made public.
I think
And
the
I'd be
more
happy to
people you
help
could
draft.
make happy, the more people. Maybe it's too specific, but the more people you could help, I think the
Oh well,
Brooklyn houses. I want to shout out Melvina Johnson.
right,
I
right.
want to shout out my friends at Taft Houses. I don't
I
want
don't
any of
think
them
to the
left behind.
governor. I
I
don't
don't
think
want
it's.
right. I understand maybe one, right, but just like if it's a long document, like that's just how many more friends you're gonna have, bro. Like
Well,
I
sure. Well, I
just
mean,
I want you to help
number
all my
one.
friends. I can't leave none of my coalition behind,
There's a
bro. I'm
Well,
lot of
sorry, man.
elected
You know what I
officials that are
mean?
not on board with us.
I like helping. If you can, everyone you help is a blessing. I appreciate it, but I must just for the love of my coalition, I have to help every single one.
Absolutely. Well,
Maybe
what I meant by that was just to say
yeah.
we do this to sort of perfect the approach, and then obviously it would be used universally.
I appreciate that. Danique, you want to introduce yourself? I'm sorry, we just jumped in. Go ahead. Danique, what's up? You're muted.
Okay, hello, how are you, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay, number one, when it comes to a fight, some people are very hard to get them in, get them to fight. But you got to start from simple statements and collect signatures. But it has to be a simple statement so people can sign the petition. Then have meetings, educate people about it. And like I said, because I'm LGBTQ homeless advocate, that's what I am.
Mhm.
You gotta, like I said, same thing I tell homeless organizations that claim to help for the homeless. I will do the same thing with you guys. Where are those organizations that so-called the fight for housing rights, like Housing Justice for All, Metropolitan Housing, so many organizations? Where are they? They should be on board with you guys.
But they following suit, I guess. Listen, everything money talks. And people are not,
So,
and like we said before you came on, people are not, a lot of people are not advocating or not knowing what's going on. Just saying sign, 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 sign. And you're like, oh, the blue rag will fix our apartment. Oh, the rat pack, this is. But in fine print, if they move everybody out the projects, they could take up to 2.5 years to build back up. You coming back and you're gonna have to pay market value rent, or they're not gonna let you back in. This is why everyone needs to fight. Not just you got people that don't live in housing is fighting for housing.
so the question is like, why are they demolishing the buildings? There is
Because
they have an excuse because it gotta be an excuse.
they agreed to buy them so they could turn it the way they want to without the tenants knowing what's really going on. They
You know,
thinking that they're gonna move them out and bring them back in. No, you're
you know,
not gonna get moved back in. You're gonna lose. And then
But
you're gonna come back in to a brand new apartment and you're gonna have to pay $3,000 to live there and you can't afford it.
by the way, I want to make note of something you said earlier, right? Yeah, which I don't hear a lot of these other organizations talking about, like the grandfather clause. There's also squatting clauses. There's a lot of
Yep.
different ways that you guys could prove ownership of your apartment, not just one. But I noticed that every kind of group focuses on they're just one way, and they don't really talk. We need to share all this information. So thanks again for if
So
anybody else who has anything.
I'm gonna tell. I gotta send an email to the one of the leaders of our Housing Justice for All, which I have been with them to Albany. Why they're not on board?
Um,
Because we need to contact them to fight for the.
Because
That's the question
also
everybody wants to know.
a lot of the NFPs are in bed with the Democrats and a lot of the Democrat leadership. I'm not saying they're all bad or all good, and I understand the reason for doing this, right? They don't want people distracted by third party. They could be involved though. Why
Right.
the Democrat candidates? Once again, they've been. You saw how many people were emailed about this meeting. Democrat candidates were definitely invited to listen to about these issues, or Republicans. Everybody's invited to talk about public housing. We're going to be doing some more later on. We're waiting for y'all. What's up? Like, why won't you come have a public town, like a national public town hall on public housing? And why aren't the advocacy groups
What-
showing up? That's real weird.
what they're offering now to the tenants is that they're giving them a 30%. They're telling us that if we move into the new constructions, we'll get 30%. And as you look it up at the Section 8 with the new developers, it's only a contract for 20 years. And then
Oh
they'll
no.
start charging you medium rent, which is the
Just told
maybe
you.
5,000.
Your
Yeah.
home is
Told
worth
you.
over
They're
$1
trying to
million.
fool us.
Your home is worth
They're
over $1 million.
lying. They're,
It's not
they're
for you. The
misleading.
part
They're misleading a lot of people. That's why a lot of people are going for it
True.
because they're being lied to. They're gonna say we're gonna give you the 30%, but
no.
it's gonna be a surprise that maybe by 20 years when they abide by the contract, they're gonna throw us out.
Right.
Do you know one thing? Do you any one of you follow the elections, the primaries?
Yep.
When the
Yep.
Mayor Adams ran in the primaries, Andrew Chang, Andrew, what's the name of the guy, the Chinese guy? Andrew something,
Andrew Yang.
Angry
Andrew
Yang.
Yang, and I think it's the top three, the top four. These developers gave millions of dollars to their campaigns.
Right.
I think there was the first three. They gave millions, including Eric Adams was one of them who received millions.
Yes.
So Eric Adams has to pay them back.
Right.
So
Yes.
Eric Adams has to give them political favors.
Yeah, they
So
all get paid.
Right.
so you guys gotta keep fighting hard, and people need to read the fine prints.
Hmm.
That's what I just been saying. Do not sign anything on the RAD program. Do not sign it. Give it to you in big
Yes.
letters, and then they'll start going down real small. That you're gonna be like this. What's that? I gotta read it with a magnifying glass.
And
Right.
they're going to be
Right.
giving out contracts soon to people to sign.
Don't sign
Don't,
nothing.
Right.
Don't
Don't
don't.
sign
sign nothing.
nothing.
And don't trust that legal aid defense thing either. Yeah, I have
No.
actually evidence on my video, right, where I investigated their sponsors.
Right.
Big time paid by the real estate. They have lots of donations from the real estate companies, and those are the one entrusted to protect you. When's the last time you've heard about them winning? When's the last time you heard about them actually like legal aid defense, like save people their homes? I haven't heard nothing about that. Don't trust anything. Trust results. Yeah. Okay.
Listen, I tell you like this. Since I've been a community activist fighting with East Harlem Center, which they knocked down the Children's Aid East Harlem Center on 101st between Lexington and Park Avenue. I did a media blitz within 2 weeks, and it was just that was just tore my heart completely. After that, I just got into more political stuff and
Right.
and learning more about my neighborhood, how much we worth, what is our value. Do your homework around the area. How much is the space worth? How much is our worth? How much is the you can go to Department of Renewals and Department of Housing and they'll show you what your rent status is before you moved in there and see
Right.
how much the hike is. There's a
Right.
lot of stuff that it could be turned over, and you don't have to go to college and all that to do everything.
Just
I
Google it.
learned everything, and I'm like, wait a minute. The last time the person lived here, they only paid $100. What's going on?
Right.
Hold on. And now it's 2024. They
Inflation.
shouldn't engross right. They shouldn't be grossing up higher. So they want to get you guys out so they can get the market value rent.
Right.
And people don't seem to understand that. Like and sometimes I get it.
I
People don't
think
want
she's
to
reconnecting.
right. And the thing is, I get it that people are fighting like myself that I find behind the scenes.
Right.
And I don't like
Yeah.
to be front too much. I sit behind and I let, you know what I mean? I get the information I need to get and I run with that and I just fall back and see what they're going to do with it.
So
People get tired of trying to help. And then other people who just think that we have to take, the activists, that we have to sit back and help you all the way. No, you got to get up.
So
Right.
just at this point, I want to ask Emmanuel because there's a lot of candidates who hopefully watching this who are going to
Right.
maybe make some decisions about where they want to go with this whole thing. Being someone who's kind of like newer to the issue, as most candidates probably are, do you have any questions at this time about the public housing issue here in New York, or
Well, I really am glad to have a chance to understand a little bit. I guess the question is, and I want to ask about that term, sort of the market price.
Medium
So,
rate.
I mean, I guess I feel really irritated whenever we bring up this issue about what the cost, so what the market is.
Mhm.
Market has been propped up. I mean, it's artificially inflated. And so I wonder what your thoughts are about how we could get the banks out, how the companies out to stop them from inflating the prices so that only rich people can live there. How do you think we need to go, not just in public housing, but across the board to get the cost of rent and the cost of ownership back to what working people can afford?
Honey, we're getting pushed all the way to the Bronx. A
Right.
2-bedroom apartment right now is about 3,500. So
Right.
imagine a studio apartment, which is 2,500. So a 2-bedroom was almost $3,000. A 4-bedroom was almost $5,000.
Right.
You have to
Most,
work. You have
most
to work
people
about
can't
3
afford
jobs to do
that
that.
much.
So
Most
are you
people cannot
demanding?
afford at 1,000. There are low income people in the housing. That's why I
Right.
say that we should stay with Section 9
So
because Section 9 is protected for low income people.
No, I'm not against Section 9. What
Right.
I'm saying is Section 9 works with organizations like me and Alfred been talking about for a long time, that if the tenants, you guys could buy your apartment and still keep Section 9.
Yeah.
Right.
2
Okay.
entities
They
is
won't
better
get
than
paid by
1.
HUD. Yeah.
I'm with
I
you.
have a
Right.
Yeah,
question.
HUD is giving, let me tell you something. HUD gives my building $40 million
Right.
yearly for 5 buildings. And I don't live in
Mhm.
housing, and we don't know where the money goes.
Right.
So now I'm asking, can I get a paper trail to see where the money goes? I'm not the tenant association president, but everybody
Right.
in my buildings, they're like,
Right.
yo, you need to be the tenant association president because you up on your game. I'm ready to put all this in and be like, listen, let this the tenants buy their apartments. That's in works with the
Mhm.
grandfather's law, which is called now the TILD program and HPD.
So what?
Housing, and I can't say it enough, housing
Right.
wasn't meant for us.
Right.
It was old condominiums, and they just changed the condominium word to public housing for low income. Low income to me is not $2,000. That's not low income rent.
No.
That is not. You got to make $135,000 to be in a 2-bedroom. That's not low
Right.
income affordable housing.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yo,
So I
And the
mean, we.
governor is trying to give affordable apartments to the
Right.
city, and they're like it's like $80,000 a year. Who makes $80,000 a year?
not
What
me.
happens to the people that are retired?
So
So I mean,
Joanna
I
has
mean.
it like exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say as well, right?
Right.
Don't let people convince you that I'm against saving Section 9. I'm absolutely not. But I'm trying to just say that's not your only option, right? Yeah, I just want you to be aware of everything, all the options
I
you have
want to
available,
stay
and
with
make your
Section
choice.
9.
That's all. That's good.
Yeah,
I'm
if
not
it's
mad at that,
gonna
right? Yeah.
help me with
Okay.
with this, then
So,
I'll stay with Section 9, of course.
Yeah,
But
but you
Well,
got
I'm
to
getting
say,
out of it because
but you got to
it
say,
protects me.
yeah, I understand that, but you got to say, I'm going to keep Section 9, but I also want that TILD program as well so I can be an owner.
Silver, you're gonna need to
Right.
give me that link to know.
Or you got to go
I'm
to,
gonna
or you
look
got to do
into
it
it.
to HPD, or you got to go to hpd.gov and then look up the TILD program and everything is right there.
and I just want to
Okay,
chip
Right.
this
all
in with
right.
my just being an activist for 25 years. I've seen people start community watches, other like co-ops, things like that. And here's always the problem that comes up, right? The thing is that no system is perfect. You're not gonna like
Right.
wave a magic wand and all the problems are gonna be solved. The problem is that eventually what happens is that there becomes a lack of accountability. So the fact of
Right.
the matter is that we have to make sure that we have the only way out is through political empowerment. We must have
Right.
more people mobilizing, more people getting involved,
Right.
right? The money's always going to pay for the other side to win. So we luckily have a system in this country where votes supposedly matter. Once again, if people are not watching, right, those places, those ballot boxes and stuff, honestly, ballot stuffing is happening. There's video evidence of this, right? So we got to be careful of all kinds of stuff going on. And
Okay,
just the fact, yeah.
I want to ask another question though, if I could, and that is about rent control across the board. I mean, New York in the 70s had a relatively strong rent control initiatives across the board. What do you think ideally should be rent control for the New York metropolitan area?
I think that right, everything has like certain solutions. You shouldn't rule out.
Mhm.
In certain cases, rent control is good. In certain cases, rent control is bad. And I think
Right.
that right, yeah, I think that you should have a variety of solutions instead of just having a one answer for everything, right? Yeah, because some type of ideology. Take each case on an individual basis. I'm not saying it's always right or always wrong. There can be some cool things about having some competition. There's can be some cool things about having. We definitely should have some rent control. It should definitely be some, yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a question. What is the difference between Section 8 and Section 9? Can you educate me a little bit, please?
I could say it unless someone else wants to.
Section 9 is it's security for the low income people that cannot afford rent.
Right.
Section 8 is privateurs, people that are coming to buy the buildings, not the landscape of nature, and they want to commit it to medium rent, which is the market rate.
Yeah,
Right.
protects the land, protects the owner, because the thing is, it assures them median income, whatever the median income of the neighborhood is, that's how much rent you can charge. So if the whole
Right.
area goes up in price, right? Yeah, then all the rents will
Yeah.
go up together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the vouchers, right? Yeah, allow the rents to artificially go up so that the person who owns the property gets the money, right? Instead of it going to actually serve the people who are, actually
Right.
poor. So that's just,
Uh,
yeah.
Is there anybody aware about the new proposed bill, social housing? If you know,
No,
what is
not
your opinion on that?
If we enforce the laws we had now, things would be way better. Right.
Right.
So we need to have accountability right now.
Right.
There's plans we're talking about right now, like Save Section 9. That's a good plan. There's like also like this plans that have been put in place, like the Till plan that she's talking about right now, that already exist. People just have
Yeah.
to know about it and they can engage it. You know what I mean? We're taking the old work and throwing it away for new plans because people want to market new stuff. Oh, I got this new album I'm selling. Boom, boom. You know what I mean? This is the best thing ever. It's just marketing new stuff. Look, there's a lot of solid stuff that's already in there. We just need help getting this out, you know? And also some new stuff could be maybe like refunding those, or actually building programs to work in conjunction, or even market those things or give them the proper promotions, because no one's making money off of these programs, right? Yeah, if the tenants get the money, right? Yeah, tenants aren't paying into any fund to like help them know about this stuff. It's just a berserkazoid like me who did it back in the day, who realizes the horror what's happening. What was initially promised as exactly this plan that you have sounds so good, right? Yeah, this plan to give the residents control of their own homes, right? It sounded so good. Politically, would never pass like this. Politically, it passed with no issue because it was told that these residents are going to get to own the homes. And then they're not just being told, and now it's being weaponized against them to evict them. And we see this lady right here, Alexa Cruz, on the verge of being homeless. This is insane, right? Yeah, what was supposed to be a gift to her is being weaponized to displace her. This is absolutely not cool at all.
This is why I say when I do things and I advocate and I do things like, oh, but you don't live here. I get all of that, but it's people that don't live in housing is fighting harder than the people that are in housing. You have very few people in housing that fight.
Yeah.
And it's
I
right.
want to shout
You
Melvin
don't know the rule. And it's right. You don't know what's going on because your tenant association presidents are not going to tell you.
Right.
You have to just do the searching yourself.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they have their own wars. They're actually incentivized to by the whole county committee system to not tell their own residents about what's going on because they could hold a position. So, I can't really, is that really their fault? Like it's really the way the system's set up. So, if they do it like I do, then, they'd be like, all not funded and messed up. So, I mean? Like it's really not a good idea. So I can't really blame 100%. Anyways, look, we got another show coming up soon.
You gotta blame them because they're tenants too,
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're about to I do have another live broadcast with Emmanuel coming up on the Korean issue. That's gonna be quite interesting.
Keep the fight, don't give up. Keep the fight, don't give up.
Is there anything else you guys
never. All we just need to do is all we just need to do is work together, not against each other.
Absolutely.
You gotta talk to your TA presidents and go, yo, what the hell is going on?
Yes, I'm planning to join you. I'm planning to
That's
join
a good
you.
idea that the guy mentioned to get petitions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all have, I think everybody on this call has Emmanuel's
I'd be happy
website,
to help. Be happy to help.
His
Be happy
email.
to write for you.
You can contact him about his upcoming.
There
statement.
you go.
Yeah.
You got a person right there to help you with everything and write off everything.
You gotta send an email.
Also,
He's gonna send the email.
You want to shout her out once again, Alan Cullen.
Yeah,
You can
DJ.
watch the debate and
DJ.
Yeah, go ahead.
DJ, there is a lady who ran for city council on District 3, where Chelsea Naicha is. I forgot her name. She's a good fighter for that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Get her information and hook up everybody that needs to get hooked up.
Here. It's over here.
Oh, you mean
by
Marnie?
Chelsea.
Marnie Halassa?
Marnie's not in it.
Her.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. Marnie's pretty cool.
He's talking about Marnie?
Yeah.
Marnie's not in the District 3. I mean, yeah, well, she's from Uptown.
I don't know. I know
Marnie?
she's been hanging out with y'all, which is good. So I appreciate that.
No, she went with the first. They're trying to the idea.
Right.
Christopher Leon Johnson was with her on that day.
Shout out Christopher Leon Johnson, who was here earlier in the call. Anything else that you guys have questions?
Oh, Christopher. I trust Christopher. Yes, and it's Marnie Halassa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. I'm guessing, right? Okay. But once again, Emmanuel's here with us, right? Marnie's not here with us. That's okay. I know she's busy with other things, but Emmanuel's
But
here
I
with.
hope that everybody just wakes up before and get their stuff done. Cause I hope and pray that you guys in Chelsea fight, man. Cause your property is
Oh,
much,
we're
much,
putting up a
much
good
more.
fight. I go every.
Y'all better get the news
I
and
go to
everything
those
in
board
there.
meetings. I don't go anywhere. I don't get anywhere with them, but I
Right.
stand up to them. I'm a
Let me be
fighter.
yeah, let
Okay.
me be real with you.
I'm
You
no
have a
joke.
lot
I
to
may
hide.
be old, but I'm no joke. I will fight
Mhm.
them.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
Excellent.
You gotta have
But
a
it's
back.
been a very pleasure to meet you, Mr. Manuel. I hope we can meet in person and we can strategize more with all housing development issues.
Yes,
And let's see if we can get these tenants to be owners from all boroughs, not just in
yes.
Manhattan.
Like,
Let me
Excellent.
tell you something. Mr. DJ, let me introduce myself quickly.
go ahead, please. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
My name is
Please.
Dainik Martinez. I'm LGBTQ, homeless advocate, and I'm politically centrist.
There you
So
go.
I follow Republicans, Democrats, and anybody in between. I follow all type of religions. So I'm not in a box.
Yeah.
So
I,
Hey,
get to
listen.
know. You wanna
Doing a
follow me
good
on
one.
Facebook? If you wanna follow me on Facebook, be aware that I don't live in a box.
I'm trying to have a discussion
Hello.
panel on LGBT.
Okay, so you know now who I am.
So I'd
Thank
But
love
you.
it's
for you
been a
to
pleasure
actually be a
meeting
part of it.
everyone.
Yes,
Let's
it's
work
a
with each other,
pleasure.
not against each other. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
with that. I'm
yes.
with that. All right, cool. All right, I'm
Let's.
gonna end the stream right now. See y'all. Peace.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.
Have
All
a
right.
good
Hey,
night.
thanks.